Welcome to another March Madness Preview Show on the Grilling Truth Sports Network. Today, we're going to look at the Purdue Boilermakers, the number 4 seed, to still take on the number 1 seed, Houston Cougars. The Cougars are favored by 7.5 points. This game will be played at Indianapolis, so Purdue should have the home court advantage here because you have to figure the other two teams playing in this, Kentucky and Tennessee, are both probably going to cheer for underdog Purdue, especially whichever one of them wins the early game. Now that we've reached the Sweet 16, we get to see the heavy hitters. We get to see the matchups between the titans of college basketball. And these are two titans of college basketball. Houston recently been to a Final Four. The Purdue Boilermakers last year made it all the way to the national championship game before losing to a great UConn team. Now, Matt Painter has done an outstanding job at Purdue, and he's done it the right way. When you look at Purdue, they do have NIL money. I mean, Braden Smith getting paid. But I think this is the only team in the Sweet 16 that has 5 returning players from last year all on their team that are starting in this game. A little bit more cohesion there. Matt Painter is an outstanding coach, and for all the IU fans that will tell you he hasn't won a national championship, well, not many teams do. It's really hard to win a national championship. And if you say he's not a good tournament coach, we watched him win 5 games last year in the tournament. We've watched him win 2 games early on, and people can say they're low seeds. But how many people had High Point beating them? How many people thought McNeese would beat them? The Purdue Boilermakers are legitimately one of the top 16 teams in the country, and they deserve to be here, and they will prove that in this game. It doesn't mean they're going to win the game, but they belong here. All right, the state of Indiana, basketball revolves around Purdue right now. Not Indiana, not Notre Dame, none of that. Purdue owns the state of Indiana when it comes to basketball. And on Friday night, if you're an Indiana fan and you want to go watch a Sweet 16 game, you can go watch Purdue. Trey Coffin-Wren will need to continue to be a star for Purdue. The 6'9 junior finished 14th in the nation in scoring, and the Boilermakers will need all of his 20.3 points per game. Houston is led by LJ Cryer's scoring with 15.6 per game. But when you average 7.9 steals per game and have 5 players who average a steal or more per game, defense is your calling card. Houston was the top seed in a region for a reason. So Purdue will have their hands full as they look to return to the Elite Eight for the second straight season. But how is this matchup going to play out? Because the big three for Purdue are fully capable of winning this game. Now, Purdue gets a little bit of a shock, I think, after taking down a 13 seed to 12 seed. Now they have to take on a team that was 11 seed higher. They are one of the 4 best teams in the country. Houston takes care of the ball. They average just 9.2 turnovers a game, which is good for 6th in the nation. They are great at not allowing their opponents to get out on fast breaks and control the pace of the game. The Cougars can do just about everything as a basketball team. They hit threes when they need to. They block shots. And with Kelvin Sampson coaching the squad, rebounding is always going to be important. Purdue has plenty in the ability department to give Houston a great run for their money. They are also a very well-rounded team. The Boilermakers run heavy through their guards. Fletcher Lawyer, Braden Smith, they're going to have big scoring nights. And I don't think just for one. I think you need one to get 25, the other one to get 15. Trey Coffin-Wren has to somehow hold his own on the boards. I don't think Purdue needs to win the rebounding battle, but they can't get blown out on the boards. Now, had the Boilermakers not lost young 7-foot center Daniel Jacobs with an injury early in the year, this could be a Purdue team ready to make a run to a national championship again. However, even though I think Purdue has a good shot to win this game, I think Houston has too much firepower for Purdue. It should be able to get back to the Elite Eight after back-to-back appearances there in 2021 and 2022. But do not sell Purdue short. And Matt Painter is one of the best college basketball coaches there is. I don't care what anybody says. I think Houston will win this game 75-73. So I'm going to bet Purdue plus 7.5 points. This is not going to be easy for Houston. And don't be surprised if Purdue shocks the world. All right, guys, if you're going to bet this game, go to BetMGM, the top sports book for betting on college basketball. You can click on the link in the description down below. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you're watching on YouTube. And go to X, Follow me at Grueling Truth for all your sports needs, all your picks, all your historical articles, top 10. We have it all at thegruelingtruth.com. So for now, guys, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.